Hello folks, it's Johnny again and welcome to my review on the Mercuriall U530 amp simulation plugin. Let's get right into some tone demos. Let's start off with a normal metal tone on drop B tuning. First impression, this sounds pretty massive. It's very gritty and edgy and aggressive. So for a more normal metal tone, this works really well. Just for the fun of it, I also tried it out with Rosen digital impulses and let's see how that's doing. Yeah, also sounds pretty massive. And here we can already see the cap simulation of the U530 sounds pretty decent. If you didn't want to pay extra money for third-party impulse responses, then what you're getting here sounds pretty fine. Now let's see how it's doing as lead tone. Yeah, here's also doing its job quite well. Again, aggressive, gritty, edgy. If that's what you want, that is what you will get. But as you know me, I like to play on very low tunings, so drop A flat is where it starts. Let's see how it's faring on a more djenty tone. Here we can already see a bit of a weak point of the plugin, although I wouldn't call it weak point. We'll get into some more details about the plugin itself in a bit. For lower tunings and a djenty tone, it doesn't quite have the tightness you would need to get that note definition. And just for the fun of it, I also try to compensate for that with a little bit of pre-EQ and again third-party impulse responses. Let's see how that sounds. So yes, it's a bit better, but still not quite where I would want it. But again, for other metal tones, it's doing a great job. Now let's see how it's doing on a clean tone. Now, I don't know about you, but to me that sounded awesome. My goodness, I have tried out a lot of amp simulation plugins lately, but none of them really grabbed me when it came to clean tones. I mean, one or the other was good, but this one, U530, is really good on clean tones. It's sparkly, but it doesn't slap the sparkle in your face. It's rich, but it's not boomy or muddy. And the mid-range also knows its place. It doesn't fart in your face, but it's also not scooped and that you don't have any note definition anymore. This sounds really good. And now lastly, let's see how it's doing on the distorted channel for the bass guitar, but also in context of the whole bass tone. Yeah, for this one it works pretty well too. It adds, again, this gritty and aggressive grind to it. Not bad, not bad. Now let's talk about the amp plugin itself. The U530 basically simulates one amplifier, complete with clean channel, with lead channel, with low and high gain input levels, and also 3 different contours, and also 3 different tubes, and all kinds of other stuff to tweak your tone a little bit. But since it simulates just one amplifier, it always just has this one vibe to it, this one sound. And also with the 3 different tubes, they don't give you very much variation on the sound balance department. They just have a little bit of different feels to them. Like perhaps you also noticed this in the demo just now. The second one sounds a bit spongier, the third one a bit crunchier and more driven, and the first one is something in between. That's what I'm getting out of it anyways. But still, bottom line, it feels like this is a one-trick pony. It can't handle everything. But then again, it doesn't feel like it wants to be able to handle everything. It's like with any other real amplifier. You have one amplifier, and that one amp has that one vibe to it, that one sound, and what it does good, but it can't do everything. And it's a matter of personal opinion if you like it or not. It's the same with this plugin here. It's one amplifier, it sounds great for what it does, but it can't handle everything. But what you hear right here in those demos, that is what you will get for the money. But I can imagine you can still fiddle around with different styles. I think you could go Metallica style, In Flames style, Machine Head style. For me personally though, it doesn't quite give me what I would want. As you noticed in the djent tone demo, it's lacking a little bit in the tightness department. But again, that's just me. Other stuff it handles very well. I mean, clean tones, wow! Now let's talk about the cap section for this plugin. For the most part, the simulations are pretty decent. I personally would probably still go for other third-party impulse responses, but if you didn't want to pay the extra money for other stuff, then those work out just fine. And also the feature of the mic placement is really cool. I mean, I myself don't have any real-life experience with mic placement, but after a bit of fiddling, I got the picture and I could get tones that I liked. And it was a good learning experience too. I just wish there were more mics to choose from. It basically just has one. So you're kind of tied down to that. I also wish there was a built-in noise gate, made for guitar DIs, because the way it was now I had to fiddle around with the noise gate in the DAW, and it can be a little bit messy to work with those on guitar DIs. So I would wish for a built-in noise gate to make the workflow a bit smoother. And lastly, either I am really stupid and I can't find that knob for the life of me, or the U530 actually does not process in stereo. So I tried, you know, like you usually do, you have your two DI tracks, pen them hard to one side and the other side, put them in the bus and put the plugin on that one bus. But the U530 summed it back together to mono. So you kind of have to load it on both tracks individually, and then of course you also have to dial in the tone twice. Or just dial it in on one side and just then copy it over to the other side. But because of that separation, there's always a little bit of guesswork going in when you want to tweak the tone. And it makes the workflow a little less smooth, at least for rhythm guitars. I also noticed the CPU usage is a bit on the higher side. So if you have 2 rhythm guitars and 2 lead guitars and 2 clean guitars, and then you probably want to try it out in the full mix, then it can be a bit difficult. At least trying to track and record with low latency can be difficult then. If they manage to get that a little bit lower, it would be awesome. It would come a long way. And that's it from my side. I hope you liked this review. And now I'm back to work doing some other stuff, and I will see you in the next video.